water.
Ah, crap! I wasn't recording that.
Nugget. Nuggets.
That's all right. Sometimes you miss out.
No nuggets.
You miss
sometimes you miss out.
The old phrase is you miss every Dunaway quote you don't record.
Right. That's right.
Yep.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let you turn me up a little bit because I am really loud in my ears.
Okay. Yeah, do that. I knew it would come to this. It's fine with me.
All right, that's a little bit. Yeah, I could probably handle that. Probably. Yeah,
there you go. Is it better?
Okay? Is that a good balance? Is that a good balance
Perfect.
between the two?
Perfect.
All right, good. Like I said, this is just a temporary today situation. This will be resolved by the next episode.
Well, it's what I like about Discord. Gives me a little wiggle room, so it's all good.
A little wiggle. Hey, you know what? I didn't think about that.
What?
I could probably do some of mine too because.
Oh yeah, you could turn me down.
Yeah, I could turn. I'm actually the only person screaming. I'm using the pass through.
Yeah, if you turn me down, you'll hear me and everything I play quieter.
Right. All right. No, that's good. I was maxed out. I'm maxed out. It's weird how that works. There's like the C media chip that you have to put it at like 0.02 to even for it. If you go above that, it like blares it out. It's all because it's an XLR mic.
Yeah.
And it's pushing back through, voltage.
Yeah. Those are weird.
And so
those are weird.
It's not really weird, I suppose. I've seen a different mixer. Do you have are you going in?
I have
directly analog on your mixer?
I have an analog mixer, but I send it to a analog to digital converter in the form of bucket of pee. No, the form of a Sound Blaster external thing. But basically, it's just a USB to
send me a link to that because what I've been using is a Behringer.
Oh.
Behringer. And it goes out. It goes out from my mixer board.
Okay, here we go then, for real. This is the show now. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
This is the Boop Show, episode 267. It is Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. Everyone, welcome back to for the first time, the Boop Show, where we talk about small little indie games. Indie, subscription-based gaming talk, that stuff. And it's great. And we love being here. And we love to have you here. I'm Scott, and that's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hi, Scott. How are you doing today?
All right. I'm drinking from a cola because I'm tired, and I need the caffeine.
I'm drinking from a cola. I am drinking from this cola teat.
Well, now. It's a Zevia, so it's, hippie boring, but it's
yeah, that's not even real sugar.
Yeah, it's not.
Gosh,
come out of some plant
plant. That's what sugar is. It come out of some plant, man. Got sugar canes.
All right, let me rephrase that. This comes out of the stevia plant, which means that it's bitter and kind of grody, but doesn't have any calories. Right. So there you go.
Right. Hey, I'm proud of you for doing what you got to do.
I am doing what I can do. That is true. I truly am doing what I can do. And right now, what I can do is a podcast. Before we get going too far into things, I did want to talk about a couple things. I've been playing a lot of WoW, new expansion out. Today it was announced. This is a big deal. Today it was announced that game is now the fastest selling PC game of all time.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That
Crazy.
Is insane. So you're telling me the latest WoW update is the fastest selling game
on PCs
of all time.
On
PC. Oh, yeah.
3.7 million ahead of release. That's is probably a little bit of coronavirus time helping that out. The previous record holder was 3.3 million, which was held by Diablo 2 in 2012.
Nice.
Yeah, so Blizzard's got the top 2 spots. Anyway, that's a big deal. Also, that game's
Blizzard
great.
Money.
I like that announcement even more because it actually is like a really solid expansion, and I'm glad people are getting the game they wanted. It feels real good after, a lackluster previous expansion. It wasn't great, but this one pretty good.
Hey, man, we should talk more about that because I'm always tempted to get back into World of Warcraft, but it's kind of like this big spinning. You remember those big spinny things out in the playgrounds and be going around really fast? Don't talk about it. They don't have them anymore.
No, they quit doing that. Those are dangerous.
Merry-go-round is what I think they were called.
Whatever they were. You would run. Your friend would run on the outside.
Death machines.
Yep. You'd sit on the inside, and by the time he was done, the centrifugal force was going to toss you into another dimension. It was so bad.
So that's how I feel about the Blizzard games. I'm like, I feel like that merry-go-round is going around so fast. I'm like, okay, it's time to get in now. Here it goes. And I can never make that. I
decision. Would disagree right now. I think it's never been easier to get into that game. There's a whole new starting area that came out with this expansion. They squished the levels down to 50, and then the new expansion takes you to 60. So we were at 130. We're now back down to 50 to 60. And
so what you're saying is, if I decided to start this week, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna just jump on the bandwagon. Then I could like raid and do stuff with you guys. I wouldn't be like running around going, hey guys, could you help me level up real quick?
Not like those old days. Remember those days where it was like you're 50 million miles behind everybody? Not anymore. Everything's super fast now. You get caught up before you know it. And there's all sorts of catch-up stuff in Endgame that'll just sort of get you what you want, and you're gonna have a great time. The game's in great place right now. It's rad. So I would highly recommend it. Get in there, boy.
I'm down with it. It's still it's like what, like $50 to buy the game and then 15 for subscription or something. What is it now?
Yeah, I think you have to pay.
How embarrassingly out of out of the loop I am.
Well, they no longer. I don't think they don't charge for previous expansions anymore. So basically, you get in for the $49, and then you get a free month, I think, unless you use your old account. So if you did a brand new account. If you do a brand new account, you get for free 30 days. If you use your old account, they're going to be like, you've been here before.
Like, I don't care about Hornswoggle. No, I got to bring Hornswoggle.
Actually, I take that all back. Levels 1 through 20, is it still?
Yeah, those are free, weren't they? For the longest time?
Well, they still are, I think. And that's a lot of content because you're squished to 50. That means you're 2/3 of the way there or something. A third.
Right.
No, wait, 50. What, 20 of 50?
Look. Let's not quabble over math.
You're 2/5 of the way there.
All right, let's not quabble over math. Let's just not do it. We're just gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the things that I did.
There's some 30-day WoW cards. Says KT Data for $10 right now. They normally have to pay a lot for those. So that's pretty cool. One other note here. I went and started preloading Cyberpunk on my Xbox Series X and decided that's where I'm playing it because I want to be on my bum on the couch. That's where I want to be for this.
Well, I had a gift of Cyberpunk, and
nice.
So we're trying to get that activated and preloaded. So
where are you playing it?
I am playing it on the PC.
PC, there you go.
Yes,
that was my other option.
Pikasaru, yeah. I'm gonna give you more information about it once it gets loaded up, and I'm gonna talk about it all next week and the amazing community member who helped me get Cyberpunk.
Oh, that was nice.
Because
very nice.
I'm telling you, so it is amazing. So we'll talk more about that next week, probably. Yeah, you're gonna get some time in between now and then for Cyberpunk. You think?
Hell yeah, dude! That's all I'm gonna care about. Come what is it? Friday that the thing unlocks, whatever it is. So it's 10th, installing. I think, right? It's preloading right now on there. Decided to get it there. Apparently they've got cross save capabilities going on across platforms. So if I ever do end up with a PC version, I should be able to move my saves around, which I think is cool. I'm very excited about that game. And while it preloaded, I sat there just to make sure everything would be okay, and I played a little more Gears Tactics, which cannot say enough about. I love that game so much. I hope they don't stop here. I hope there's Gears Tactics 2 and forward.
Is that on the Game Pass?
Yes. Oh yes. That's a Microsoft joint. It's a X and S version of that game, meaning it's all enhanced for the new consoles. It's rad. You should play it. It's great. Oh, and the controller's great even. And you'd think, tactics games, they need a mouse and a keyboard. No, sir, you don't. Not in this case.
Well, I hope not, because it's on a console, right?
It's on PC also, but yeah, you can play either way. I really like it, and so I played a bunch of that. And my new-ish TV has HDR finally, so it looks amazing and runs at 60 plus frames, maybe more. I don't even know. I think the TV is capable of 120, but I haven't checked that.
Okay, so let's break that for a minute because I've been struggling with that hard. So, Okay, so I found out something I didn't know, and probably half the chat room's gonna go, "Yeah, well, duh, Brian." You know, when I bought my Samsung 50-inch TV a couple years back, it said 120 hertz, my friend. I was like, "Sweet,
Yeah, hertz
I'll
is
be able
good.
to
There's nothing
crank-
wrong with 120 hertz. That's fast. That's
I'll
good.
be able to crank that up." Yes, baby. I'm finally gonna be looking at the high definition, the high frame rates, and everything else. I'm so excited. And then I actually got some equipment hooked up to it. And this
Yeah.
has happened more recently because I just haven't had time. I just had the thing sitting there, just just playing regular TV like a chump.
Yeah.
And so I got some real good 4K content going on. I'm like, why does this keep telling me I don't have the 120? Did a whole bunch of research just to say this. Every one of these TV manufacturers are a bunch of liars. And there's all kinds of weird speak. It says, oh, we have true this, true that, and it will do 120 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
If there's just the right mojo. There's like this almost like, remember how things used to be like, oh, here's hardware and here's this software trick we got. Well, this is like a software trick, and like all these TV companies have their own marketing terms for them. And I looked them up on the internet, and I'm like, just wait until I go to the
It reminds
TV
me
store
of
again.
5G, and the
Right.
fact that it ain't really that. It's just some weird cobbled together temporary wee-wah while we wait for the real thing. And I
Nothing
hate
gets me
that.
more mad than when I'm watching a commercial and I know it's some kind of made up technology. We're the only company that has flip flop. And I'm like, hot dog, I want flip flop. They're the only company that has it. What is flip flop? And you go look it up and it's just something it's some specification they've made
It's
for
horse,
themselves.
it's horse shittery is what it is.
It's horse shittery. My local news has weather forecast ranked number 1. I'm like, what is forecast number 1? What is it? Oh, that's your own thing. And you ranked yourself number 1.
Yeah, they named it. They
Really?
made it up. They made it up. This is the world we live in, dude. We live in that world.
It is.
And they've been feeding it to us since what? Blast processing? Probably before that, but that was the major one I remember was Sega putting that down our throats and hoping we didn't notice. It was like,
right.
Really?
Well,
this
what
is
is
the
blast
only
processing?
We're the only console with blast processing. Right.
That's because it's a term you made up, man.
So dumb. I can't believe
I'm the
we
only
that.
Johnson with a, this is ridiculous.
Whoa.
It's just, the whole thing's stupid.
Something about
Speaking
a
of
Johnson.
stupid.
I heard something about a
Right.
Johnson.
Speaking of stupid, I sent my stupid Oculus Rift. No, not Rift. Quest.
Quest.
Right?
What happened? Why?
Yes.
Quest 2 or
That
1?
is-
What do you got?
Okay, here goes the story. A couple months back, I didn't do a lot of research, and I said, "Oh, I think I'm ready to get a Quest." I picked it up,
Oh, no.
and then I, like about a week later, said, "Announcing Quest 2," and I'm like, "Oh."
Oh, right. I remember this now.
I'm like, I just bought that. And it was
Didn't they
like,
give you a swap Oli or something?
No. So I was like, crap. And I was like, all right, you know what? This happens. You buy this model, and then the next week they go to the next thing. It's not a big deal. I do it all the time. But then it came out and it's like $200 cheaper. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
$200 cheaper? Like for a month difference? And then you know what happened? 32 days after I purchased it from Best Buy, where I have a 32-day return policy, no questions asked. The sensor for the head motion, for the proximity sensor, quit.
Oh.
Proximity sensor quit.
Well, then
Yes.
they owe you a new one then.
They owe me a new one. So it said, Oculus, this is messed up. And after about almost a month worth of back and forth of trying to get it figured out, they don't want me to send it in. They keep wanting to try this. And they're like, I've already tried all this stuff. I've already read. I've already spent like 20 hours reading about your proximity sensor. I know more about it than you probably do. I probably could tear this whole thing down and fix it, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
I paid $500 some odd for this thing. Now I have a Quest 2, and I put it out there. I said, hey, if you just wanted to send me a Quest 2 in this place, that's fine, because apparently these are worth more. I don't know why, but why not? I'll be happy with that. They didn't like that, so I sent it back to them. Oh my God, don't get me started about the system. Please, if you have an Oculus, pray to God it never goes bad, because it's a nightmare. Yeah. It's a nightmare.
I think they should have given you a Quest 2 and turned right around and done it. That would have been the right thing to do.
It would have been the right thing to do. But I'm like, fine. And I looked around other headsets, and I'm like, yeah, nothing's going to do what I want the Quest with how the Quest works, And after I'd gotten it too, it's also like the next month they announced the Quest 2, and they also mentioned, oh yeah, by the way, we're getting rid of all the Oculus accounts. You have to tie it in with a Facebook account. And I'm like, man, you guys really just pulled the rug out. You just like zoop.
Yeah.
And
now they call it
but
Facebook.
I love the hardware.
Oh, it's great.
Hated the service. So
the
far.
service is bad.
Terrible.
Facebook all over it, pushing their crap into the brand is bad. I know they own it, but you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, he didn't have to do that. And I'm assuming there's only like 2 guys at the Oculus support place because it takes like a month for them to fix it. And, and you can't talk to them. If you talk to them, this is fun too. You want to learn some really nasty stuff.
Yeah.
If you talk to them, they put you to the back of the line. Every time you ask for a status update, they push it back. They push it back.
That seems bad.
And so I had to send it off and just go, I guess it'll come back when it comes back.
Yeah, that's no good. I don't like that you had to deal with that. I mean, the way I look at it, did you ever have it or here's the best thing that could happen. You could call the support line that says, "Hi, thank you for calling Facebook Oculus whatever Connect. We're not able to help you right this moment, but you're in line. Your freaking potential wait is 1 month.
2 months. Yeah. Right. And I actually was good because I actually had went to the forums and the Reddits and everything, and I had looked, and they'd all said like, dude, it just covered up with some tape because it took them 6 to 8 weeks to do mine. I'm like, oh man, it's not like I was the only person who's ever had a proximity sensor problem.
No,
it's actually it's actually a pretty big, well-known problem. I don't know how big it is, but it's enough that I'm like, oh, there's a problem. There it is again. Well, I don't even need to post this question because this question was just posted like 3 weeks ago, and then again 6 weeks ago, and then it's just, so I'm like, okay,
that's not a great thing. I'm not happy to hear that they're got such a poopy support system. That's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. But it's back. Well, I say it's back. It said it was delivered. I came home. The package was not outside. I'm assuming either Zoe or Audra picked it up. I hope they did. Otherwise, I didn't even get it back.
What if they quickly smashed the sensor that was already a problem, and now you have to do
I went down. Oh, that's the other thing that made me mad too. Well, I don't mean to. Let me get off my soapbox. But when I got the receipt back, first of all, they sent me back a thing that said, "Oh, your Oculus is being shipped." I'm like, okay, cool. And it said like $0 next to it. Then at the very bottom it said like $80. I'm like, $80. What does that mean?
$80 for what?
Am I paying for something? I'm like, am I paying something? I don't know. But I think they have like a Genki system or something. So I think they had to put in like a number. They sent me a refurbished, and it's rated a class B. And I'm like, a class B? I had that thing for a month. I barely even used that thing. And it is like in pristine condition. I have everything.
They're poops, like, dude. I'm not happy about this.
Send me, and if I get this thing back and it's all ganked up, and got like syrup on it, I'm like, I'm gonna be really mad.
Yeah, that means they took it home, or they grabbed another one from some other guy that sent it in because his daughter dumped syrup on it.
Yeah, it's absolutely a refurb, no doubt about it. But I've read also about that too, and it's like, well, people said, oh, mine came back and it was fine. It listed as refurb and grade B, but it actually was fine and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, Brian, just slow down.
It's an expensive purchase. You shouldn't have to go through all this.
Not for $500.
No,
come on.
No, I don't like this. This is bad. Oculus bad. Well,
bad Oculus, but
Oculus
I still love
Facebook
the product.
bad.
I like the people who made it, and I can't understand why none of these other companies can do it. I don't understand.
Because they have all the Facebook money. Oculus got bought and flushed with cash, and they went, all right, do whatever we want. And they went and R&D'd themselves to death and came up with a really, really great headset. Now, Grandma Company is sneaking its way in going, okay, Sonny, move over. We gave you the cash. It's time for us to get our piece. So now they're doing that.
Break your legs.
And nobody else is doing that. I guess what's the Index? Valve's Index is really awesome, but it's tethered. The future isn't tethered.
It's not exactly what I was like. And I was like, oh, because I don't want to play Beat Saber with any cable on it. And everybody else has a cable, and I'm just like, oh.
I know. Lame. That cable's cool, though, the way the tethering works. But I don't want the one that's forcing me to do it. I want to do that, optional.
I'm willing to accept for a higher definition that I have to plug in a cable. That's fine. I understand that. But if I'm just wanting to go, if I just want to go and just play around with some Beat Saber or something, I want to be free. I like to go outside, even get on the trampoline and
if you want to beat your saber,
do whatever I want.
Do what you got to do. Sure. Well,
send that back.
We'll see how that goes after you find it. You'll have to let us know how that turns out. But in the meantime,
thank you for listening to my rants. It was really just good.
That's what we're here for. What we're here for. All right, time for us to talk about this week's games. I will begin with a game that just came out on multiple platforms. When I say multiple, I mean all of them. There's nary a platform this didn't come out on, and so.
Is this on my Samsung refrigerator?
This is not on your Samsung refrigerator. This is only on proper game consoles, although maybe you can HDMI into that thing. I don't know. I have no idea how that works.
Right.
So the game is called Haven. Yeah, that's right. Haven. Haven. And
did I see this one? Is this the one with nudity?
oh, I don't know if it's got nudity. I haven't hit any yet. If it does, I have no idea. I don't think so. I think it's okay. So here's the deal behind this game. In fact, I'll tell you what their description is. This is what they describe it as on Steam, and like I said, you can get this everywhere. I'm playing this on the Series X. It is part of Game Pass, launched that way, so PC players can get it also on Game Pass.
Cool.
But if you don't have Game Pass, you can get it on Switch, PlayStation. You can buy it outright for Xbox, that sort of stuff. Anyway, here's what it says. It's also on Epic and Steam and all that. Here's the description. Starts out with a lot of... Oh, no, this is their description. That's my description. It says, 2 lovers gave up everything and escaped to a lost planet to be together, glide through a mysterious landscape, explore a fragmented world, and fight against what's trying to tear them apart in this RPG adventure about love, rebellion, and freedom.
This is the game I thought it was, and it looked gorgeous.
There's no nudity,
and
though.
I loved how they glide around like above the earth.
Oh yeah,
like
it's cool. So the reason, that's funny you bring that up because I'm going to tell you what it reminded me of immediately. And let me get this out. Let me get this out of my head first. The game is a combination of some, I'd call them light RPG elements, because there's not a lot of like inventory management and spell management or any of this kind of hoo-ha. It's just, when they say RPG, they just kind of mean, oh, we're playing the role of these people. And you can switch between the dude and the lady anytime you want. Her name is Yu, and his name is YU. Sorry. His name is Yu, and his name is, or her name is Yu. His name is K.
Looks like they're getting it on right now, Scott.
Well, they kind of start to, but then the ship goes dark and they got to go get power. So anyway, you never really see it. But they are they're this couple. All right, there's happily entwined looking anime couple, and their whole deal is they're trapped in this ship on this planet that they didn't plan on getting to, and they got there through some kind of vortex teleporter thing. And because they're there, they got to figure out how to salvage stuff in their ship. They got to also do a bunch of jobs while they're on the place, and they're trying to figure out the mystery of where they are and what to do. So that's kind of the premise. You're just sort of plopped down there. The world itself, when you get outside, is actually quite beautiful. It reminds me of a combination of Flower. Remember Flower?
That's exactly what I thought it looked like.
The flowing
the
grass,
look a lot like that. Yeah,
zipping around,
and you got that little sparkly thing wherever you go. Like,
yeah, so you're kind of like leaving a little trail. People are watching it now on the stream, and that's pretty much how you traverse. There's places where you can pick up some of these apples, but my gosh, if I hear one more thing about what are they called, bum apples or some apple name,
apple seeds,
Where are they? I have a clip. Here's some audio. This is the first conversation they have. Okay. So I'm just going to play this. We may as well play it now. This is their very first conversation after you start the game.
What's that you got cooking?
Apple dew stew with apple dews.
Apple dews.
Didn't we have that yesterday? Or the day before?
No. Yesterday, it was baked apple dew with apple dews. And the day before, it was fried apple dews.
With apple dews. I remember now.
Sorry, I'm doing what I can to switch up our meals. But in my defense, we have a pretty limited set of ingredients.
Hey, I wasn't complaining. I'm glad that you're doing the cooking. Otherwise, I'd be eating, I guess, apple dews.
They're just having a real moment there.
Oh, God, I have a love-hate relationship with that whole conversation.
Well, now, Brian, what you just described is my love-hate relationship with this game so far. So,
oh, my God.
I am not one for these kind of relationship-y games. There's a ton of them. If you go on Steam, for example, and just look up, like, relationship simulators.
Worst. Please don't.
There's so
because
many.
You know what happens? You know what happens when you do that? It suggests to you everything.
Oh,
I did this once.
It's bad.
Oh God, don't ever do that.
It'll you'll goof up the algorithm, and before you know it, that's all you're being served. But here's the thing: a lot of those will end up in like Porn Town, but this is not one of those. This is just it's all pretty. They're not trying to really imply much here. The characters grow.
I would watch this anime though. It's pretty chill.
It's all right. They grow on me over time a little bit. These characters have grown on me. At first, they grew on me like moss, and I had to get rid of it, and they were driving me crazy. And I was like, skippy, skip. I want to skip this talk, but you can't actually skip it very fast, so you got to be careful because some of it you need. And some decisions you make when you do dialogue choices make a difference in the world and what happens. So, you got to pay attention to that stuff. It's fine though. Like, that's just not my genre. I know people. John Jagger, for example, loves these relationship freaking date game simulator games.
Yes, that's
Loves
the
them.
guy you do the show with on the Core, isn't it? Isn't that
Yeah,
who that
we
guy
do
is?
Core. I do
Yeah.
Core with John and Bo, and he loves this stuff. So I actually think this game is going to be something he'll end up really liking. Where he may not like it is where I like it, and that is outside, floating around, just traversing the world is really fun and kind of relaxing. And it reminds me, weirdly, of like, hey, what if Flower and Nights into Dreams had a baby? That old Sega game. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about it that just kind of leads to that. But it's all pretty standard stuff. Like, you're going to unlock some abilities that let you heal or let you push stuff away. You have very limited kind of resource system. The gear thing is like 3 slots.
There's something about this that almost reminds me of Zelda.
I mean, maybe.
Almost.
Maybe.
Right on the edge.
Maybe, yeah. It's like...
You know what I just discovered, though?
Yeah.
I was getting ready to head over to itch.io to
Yeah.
purchase this game, Haven,
Yeah.
because they have it for $5.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's like 29 or 25 or something like that on Steam normally.
Yeah, it's like $30.
But you must be playing this on the Xbox Game Pass. That's where I saw it.
Yeah.
Is that where you
It's
got
on
it?
Game
at?
Pass, yep. It launched with Game
Yeah.
Pass. And there's no reason if you have Game Pass not to try it, with this one exception. This is the first, write this down, everybody. Write this date down. This is the first game that I've played on my Xbox Series X that caused me to lock up and have to reboot the thing. Yep.
Oh, no.
And apparently it's a known bug in the game. It's a game thing. And the Xbox seemed to know what to do with it. It was like it froze and then said, hold on a second. And then it said, we're rebooting because this game was weird, and it rebooted. So I didn't have to actually manually do anything, but I was pissed because I was like,
did you like jump over to your X and like feel to make sure it wasn't hot or something weird? Like,
I did.
Oh, what's going on?
I did. I thought, well, is this...
Was it hot?
No, not at all. Just barely,
Really?
not even making a sound, barely blowing air.
Maybe your Series X is approved. It was like, no, I can't.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't right now. I can't play this game right now, Scott.
Yeah.
This is too you don't want to play this.
This game
Apple
said
do.
that it's X and S enhanced or whatever.
Right.
This would run on whatever. There's nothing fancy happening.
There's not. This reminds me of the art style. First of all, it reminds me of Zelda Breath of the Wild, just in the just the tiniest bit. But I think maybe it's the character design. But it really reminds me of that game I played last week called Falconeer, where it's this. You use a lot of lighting effects and you don't worry about textures.
Yeah.
So there's not much texturing here, and
Yeah.
so as a result, it should be pretty well optimized.
Yeah, it's running 60 plus on my TV. I assume it is for most
Right.
people. And what's
You
funny
wish
is
it was
there's
running
a-
120, but you got suckered because you have.
Well, mine's pure.
Samsung.
Mine's native 120, so mine's running native 120.
You're
and
telling me your panel is 120 hertz?
Yes.
You got a 120 hertz panel in that. How much you pay for that thing?
Let me tell you the difference. The panel is 120. You have to have USB 2.1 on both ends. That means the TV needs to be compliant, and the Xbox needs to be compliant, and the cable needs to be capable.
Yes, the cable needs to be compliant. Correct.
If those 3 things are in place, you get 120. You can get 120 frames on stuff. Now, can my eyeballs tell the difference between 60 and 120? Not really.
Absolutely not.
120 hertz, I can tell the difference. Like my
Absolutely.
iPad does 120 hertz, and I can definitely tell the difference. So I think that's working without any problem. But if people are asking me, because hertz and frames are different, right? If 120 frames is not the same as 120 hertz.
No, they're not one to one, but they're related because if you really want to see one, you're not going to see one without the other. Right.
Frame rate and refresh rate are buddies. They hold hands and they make
They're
out.
buddies.
They're like this
They hang
couple in
out.
this game. They like to get in bed and do it.
Right.
Anyway, the point is, there's a bunch of cooking mini games. You sleep to advance the day.
Is sleep a mini game?
Kind of. You go and you lay down and you're both laying there, and then there's often a big conversation between the two of you. So she'll go,
Right.
I was thinking before we crashed here, my boobs were waxed, or whatever she says.
Right,
and then
right.
he's like, oh, well, I'm thinking I'll wake up and make apple dew soup tomorrow. And then they go do
It's
that.
always back to the apple dew, isn't it?
Yeah. And then, you get other cooler ingredients later, and there's this whole crafting system and stuff. That stuff's all fine. It's a bit of a mishmash, but I think it's meant to just feel light and fluffy and really kind of not a lot of consequences so far. The story could go places. I'm only about, I don't know, I played about 2 hours so far. I'm going to give it some additional time. I'm just not one for relationship-y crap, so I kind of, that stuff just kind of makes me roll my eyes and go, all right, freaking, I get it. You guys are freaking in love. You're 20-something. You lounge around with your socks on, looking at your phones. Like, fine. It's fine.
VR. Could you see playing this VR? I could totally see this quickly stepping over to VR.
I meant HDMI 2.1, not USB. Did I say USB? Sorry, chat room's correcting me.
It's fine.
I knew HDMI. I said the wrong word. Anyway, sorry. Yes, what? Say it again. What?
Oh, VR. VR. This looks like it'd make a great VR game.
I don't know about that. I don't think it would. I think it's the movement.
I'm telling you, man, my tolerance for stupid task really gets lowered. Like, no, I'm sorry. My tolerance, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So I guess it actually goes up. I have a higher tolerance for doing stupid crap in VR as opposed to.
I agree.
Game.
Like shooting, like just a arcade shooter, like Space Invaders, is so much better if you're playing it in VR. I get it.
I mean, I would never. There's like a Cook VR game that I play, which is total fun. I'm totally blanking on the name right now, but essentially all you do is you stand there and you reach in the refrigerator and you get some. You get some tomatoes, you reach over here and get another thing. And all you're doing is reaching around and grabbing stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is not the best game, reach around and grab stuff. But, it's a lot of fun.
Ugh.
And I'm like, I would never play that on anything but VR. So I'm like, I really like these storytelling things. There's a really great visual novel stuff that's on the VR. And there's a couple of really good stories that are it's just fun just to like look around and go, oh, look, I'm in a real world here. This is
definitely not one of those. You're in third person all the time. You never really do anything outside of that view. And then when you're zipping around the planet, there's no way that reverse move would be good in VR. You'd barf.
Oh, that's probably a good point. Yeah, that I didn't think about that. Zipping around the planet would be nauseous.
Yeah,
probably terrible.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's fine. I really think that I'm going to make a recommendation here because if any of those elements sound good to people, then you're going to probably like it, especially the relationship stuff. Which, if that's the kind of storyline you like in your games, that's where this is headed, and it seems pretty strong on that point. The voice acting's okay. It's nothing.
I thought it was actually pretty good. The dialogue sounded dumb as dirt, but
yeah,
I think the actual voice acting sounded pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. So I'm going to recommend it. It's good. It's from a company.
If you're a voice actor and you have like 5 pages of Apple Do, I mean, there's only so much you can.
Yeah, what else are you going to do with all your Apple Do lines? I get that. So the game is made by a company called The Game Bakers. They also published it.
Oh.
And good thing there's literally baking in the game because that's the name of the company.
And it just came out, right? I mean, like,
it was released on
December
the
3rd.
Yep, just a few days ago, not too long ago. Priced, like you said, $24.99. It's on Game Pass if you have that, so no need to spend it if you haven't. And
we are indie. Yeah. We love talking about gaming services like this as well as indie games, and both are getting touched on here because itch.io. If you want to purchase this game, don't want to go out and spend the whole $5 on the Xbox Game Pass. Was it like $9.99? I think for just the console.
Well, if you do just the console, $9.99, yeah, $15 for everything.
So itch.io, great place to get indie games, and I think all this stuff is DRM free, kind of like good old games.
Okay,
yeah.
And how much is it again? How much is Haven?
$5 right now.
$5, not bad.
$5, and usually itch.io. The reason why they can sell stuff cheap like that is just like good old games. They get 100%. I think the creator gets, it might not be 100%, but it's close to 100%. It's really high up there in comparison to other places. So it's
how do you know which Haven it is? There's like 20 Haven games on here.
Yeah, you have to look around a little bit. But
holy Moses!
Yeah, that's a common name there. But oh, by the way, I found out where I had it at. I don't know if you use the Good Old Games Galaxy 2 game library manager that allows you to peek into almost all your streaming services, Steam.
Negative.
Negative what?
I mean, I have never used it. I've never used
you've never used Good Old Games Galaxy 2?
Nope.
You should totally get it. It's available on the Mac and the PC.
Mm-hmm.
They have not ported over to Linux yet, but I have it on both of those, and it gives you a nice quick look to see if you have it. And if you do, you can just hit a little install button and run it right from there.
There's a game on here called Cyberjunk 2020.
Ooh, do I have Cyberjunk? I think I have that one, actually.
Do you really? It looks dumb.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look real quick.
Looks real dumb.
I bought in a huge, I don't know if you remember they had a huge deal earlier in the year that was just, it was like, I forget, like 1,000 games.
How do you know if anything's good? How do you know looking at this if you're just like,
oh man, that's the part. That's the reason why you tune into the Boop Show, because Brian has bought a lot of crap on itch.io. but I've also bought a lot of good things.
Hmm.
A lot of good things. So,
all right. Well, there it is. Itch.io. $5, I guess. I can't find it, but I'm sure it's on there. I believe Brian. When Brian says
it's there, it's there. And what was the other one you said? You had cyber something you was looking at?
Cyber Junk 2020.
Junk. Oh, 2020. I didn't know you meant 20. I don't know if
yeah, like that's in the name. That's in the title.
Right. I do own VA11 Hall A Cyberpunk Bartender Action. What is that?
Oh, I don't even know what to do with
that.
Oh,
it used to be on a, looks like a little PS Vita emulator. Oh,
really?
Like that. Yeah. Critical
you know what the world needs now? A good Vita emulator. Let's get that going.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Put a PSP and Vita emulation coming back, baby. Strong as ever. All right. Brian, you played another game that I played a long time ago and never talked about on this show because I bought it when it was new. Now it's on Game Pass, and I wish I would have waited. What do we think of Darksiders Genesis?
So Darksider Genesis, I've played none of the Darksider series, but somehow or another, I ended up with every one of the games and just have never touched them. I saw this. It popped up on the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is I have. And it's, I think, just like about 2 weeks ago or something. It's very recent.
Yeah,
and
I bought it new for $30 on Steam back in whenever it came out. I was like,
yeah, December 5th, 2019 was when it was originally released. And you guys talked about it briefly, just for a minute, on Core Episode 203. That's one of our sister game shows that Scott does.
Yep.
And you did guys to talk about it a little bit. Darksider Genesis is a hack and slash action RPG that you would look at and go, hey, am I playing a Diablo-like? Yeah, you kind of are. You kind of are. There's now, if you asked either one of the factions, either Darksider fans or Diablo fans, they might disagree with you.
Diablo fans would definitely disagree with you because the problem with this game is it looks like a Diablo game and it's like a 3/4, top-down thing.
Yes, it's isometric. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But there's no loot. That's the only comparison. The rest of it is just like action gameplay, and it's a little more like just the original Darksiders games, just in this new view. And it's actually a prequel story-wise.
Correct. This is story-wise, this predates all the rest of the games. This is when, if you're not familiar with the Darksiders story, it's essentially the four horsemen. They are the spawn of angels and demons, the Nephilim, right? The Nephilims.
Uh-huh.
They went out and they killed all their other, little genocide, killed everybody else that was like them. Then they got themselves some horses.
Yeah.
And now you have War, who is in Darksiders 1. He was
it's Liam O'Brien, by the way, doing the voice.
That's right. Yeah. And he does it here again. Yeah. He does that one, and then in the second one, you get to ride around with Death. Yeah. He also hooks up with War. War is a central character here. Lots of times, you don't always have all four horsemen, because if you did, it'd probably be the end of the world. Yeah. You wouldn't want that. So
this is a co-op and then the third one, right? I think it's co-op. Pretty sure
this one is co-op. This is 2-player co-op, couch or online. Fury was the other horseman. She was part 3. And then now we're finally getting to meet Strife. Strife conflict is perfect timing. A lot of strife in the world. So we've got this guy Strife coming along. He is a ranged guy. He's got a couple of guns, right? He's tearing through the areas of hell.
Yeah.
Right? These dungeons, and he's shooting up demons by order of the Charred Council. The Charred Council has told both War and Strife to get out there and check out what's going on and bring balance back to
the Force.
The Force. Yeah, there you go. That's this. I don't know exactly. The locations weren't super clear from what I played so far. But anyway, I have been having a blast because this is not a Diablo-like, in my opinion, other than maybe some isometric similarities. There is some, you might say, Brian, you open chest. Only thing you find in a chest is skulls, and you use those skulls for currency. So if Diablo only had coins in their chest, maybe, but that's not how you play Diablo. No. Diablo's got all kinds of cool crap in their chest, right?
There's way more going on there. Also, this game doesn't, the levels aren't random.
No,
Diablo levels are like, there's a lot of differences.
Right. You go area to area and all those things.
Honestly, the only comparison I would make at all is that it has a top-down camera. That's honestly it. Yeah. So it's easy to get. I'm sure some people bought into this thinking, "Oh my gosh, did they do it like a Diablo-like in this world?" I'm so excited. But read the fine print. It's just
Yeah,
you know.
and that maybe that's the only things that really qualify for you is just maybe you're not a fan of either series and you're just like, hey, you know what makes me happy? Hacking and slashing, and both Diablo kind of does that, and so does Darksiders, and I think it does very well because there's a lot of combination moves in this game that really make this game stand out, and they've done a very good job of tying it in. Even though this is the only one that is done in the Darksiders Genesis, is the only one that was done in this isometric view. All the rest that was either first person or third person, and some you can change between the two. And so this is, but it plays exactly the same for your moves.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
War has like the exact same move. So if you learned all of your moves previously, just carry that on into here.
It's funny because the first game, where it was just War, it was a 360 title, 360 PS3 title. That game was basically a Zelda game. Structurally, like you played it like you would a Zelda game, unlock a new area, then have a bunch of puzzly things to do, and then it was just like a hardcore bloody version of that. The second game was a little more God of War-ish.
It was.
Third game was a little more, I don't know, kind of combination of both maybe.
Yeah, it was a throwback to, this is how I looked at it. I went through all the games of this past week because I had them all loaded up. I just loaded them all up and played like the first 10, 15 minutes of each one of them. The things that I just took away from just a quick look is one, like you said, was is 1 and 3 seem very, very similar to me.
Yeah. And
even though 2 and Genesis, which is 4, aren't exactly in the same, you know, one's first person and one's isometric, I think they both have, they're spiritually feel the same.
Yeah,
they feel more alike.
I agree. That's true.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And,
that's fair comparison. As a fan of the entire series, I would say that's true.
My eyes have been opened. I found a new love. And I'm like, I'm disappointed that I'm like, where's the next one?
Yeah.
I mean, where's the next one?
Okay.
THQ, right.
I don't know if it's sold like incredibly well or anything. I think some people just wanted a straight up Darksiders game. So I don't know what their plans are right now. I'll tell you what I want. What do you want? A Darksiders turn-based tactics game. That's what I really want.
Yes.
They're not going to do it, but that's what I want.
No, but that would be cool. Now, me and you should have played some of this. I played with Dice Tomato in the Discord or in the chat, and we played co-op, and I had a good time there. You go up to one of the summoning stones that are in the map. If that person on the other side has completed the same chapters you have, you can bring them in, and you can switch between either playing ranged attack with Strife, or you can kind of tank your way through with War. And if you get into the game and you're Strife, then the person coming in will be War, and vice versa. And you can actually switch if you both do the same joystick combination. You can switch the characters between the two of you, which you can do anyway if you're playing solo.
Yeah, if you're playing solo, you can switch it at will. So pretty easy.
And I can't even believe I haven't even mentioned like the dodge attacks are so sweet, and the horses you get to like summon instantly and then dismiss instantly, which is a lot like 2. I mean, I feel like
2. I think 2 was the first one even had mounts. I don't think you had a mount in the first one.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything in the first one. I haven't went far enough, but when I was reading, 2 was the first one. 2 to me was a really ambitious game, and I think that one may have influenced 3 and Genesis to make both of these games to be very tight as far as performance goes, because 2 was amazing. Some of the things that are going on in that game are absolutely amazing. But just trying to play it, I had to do all kinds of tweak settings. I had to tweak all kinds of stuff because I was running into all kinds of weird issues.
Really?
Because of some of the things they did with the engine. I don't think it was as tight. I don't think they made something that was super tight. They were probably trying to push the envelope a little bit of what the tech could do at the time.
Sure.
And but it is still, it's one of the most interesting ones of the series so far, out of the ones I looked at.
Well, no idea if they're working on a sequel, but we will we'll watch, because I like this game too. Good call, Brian. Yeah. Good call. I have some audio from this game. You want to hear some audio from this game?
Yes, please. Let's hear some, Liam.
Here's some.
You want to hear an actual joke?
No.
Knock, knock. You're supposed to say, who's there?
Why would I give away my location? I would simply smash through the door and face my assailant.
You're hopeless.
Dude, freaking. He may as well be doing Illidan in this.
I'm telling you. So that was War,
Yeah.
being all straight, and then Strife being the comedian.
Here's a horse meat reference.
I'm gonna count to 3. If you're still standing here, I'm gonna defile your corpse in ways you can't possibly imagine. Feed what's left to my boys. Horse meat's their favorite. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I know this. This is that opener thing. That's the opening scene. Yeah.
Yeah, the opener is kind of wild because I was like, oh, is this going to be how all the cutscenes are? This is going to be so bad, eh? And they still have cutscenes, but it's all like from the comic book style art, which is great. I love it too.
It's what's his name? Joe Madura. Joe Madura. Madura.
What's his name?
Joe
Is that right? What'd you say? What's his name was?
Joe Madura.
That might be right. I'm blanking on it right now.
Comic.
Man, I didn't even get into talking about the creature cores and everything else that allows you to upgrade your characters, like these little micro upgrades of improving your character so that you can play in what is probably the most prized part of Darksiders, is playing that their equivalent nightmare mode, where you have to really just be bad A.
It is Joe. It is Joe Madura, by the way. Madura, or however you say his name. That dude knows what's up. He's really good. He's done stuff. He's done a bunch of stuff for WoW before as well. Some concept art. He's a comic book artist. Does tons of comic book stuff, and he also did that turn-based kind of JRPG-ish like RPG game. I can't think of the name of. I forgot the name, but I love it. It's real good, and his art is always good. You should see him draw the Hulk. It's freaky. Oh, Battle Chasers. That's right. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Battle Chasers, and that's related to this because doesn't these guys? It's now Airship Syndicate who did this one, but
were they connected? I didn't know that. I just knew.
Yeah, they're all connected. It's THQ Nordic, who is the publisher, and they've been over the last couple of years. They've been snatching up just small studios here and there and restructuring stuff.
Well, they bought a lot of IPs when they went belly, when THQ went belly.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is one of them. And yeah, they've been doing a good job. Oh man, just do like a Google.
They've done real
search.
good, except for the part where they had that bad run in last year with that Ask Me Anything. Did you see that AMA they did on 8chan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
what was it? What did he say? What did he say? It was like they told him it was okay because Steve was gonna handle it or something like that.
Something like that.
AMA, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that's weird.
No, it was Mark. Mark was gonna handle it, and I said, oh hi, Mark. That's right.
Hi, Mark. Yeah, his art is go do a Google image search for Joe Madura's art. You'll freak out. He's so good.
Yes, it's so good, and it really lends itself to the Darksiders series. And I just I'm gonna have a hard time putting this series away and resting it while we tackle these games we got coming up this next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm very excited for more. Now you've made me want to play it again, so I'll get in there.
Yeah, like I said, I want to get in there, especially 2. I really want to dig deep into 2. I feel like it's going to cause me the most frustration, but also the most joy.
Yeah, some good joy to be had.
It's me, Mario.
Time to play Guess Our Game. We both pick games from yesteryear. We try to fool each other into wondering what the hell these games are. I'm going to start. Brian, this game is from 1992.
Ooh, that's old.
It's from a less popular but very iconic piece of hardware from the era. I'll put it that way.
Okay? A piece of hardware.
Uh-huh. Well, you'll get it when you hear it. Here we go. Try to figure this one out. All right.
The spice extends
let the
life.
Spice flow.
Chat room got it. You got it. Well, I don't know. Did you get it? Do you know the name?
Yeah. Well, if the spice must flow, then it's got to be Dune.
Yeah, it's Dune. So it's Dune.
Yeah.
It's the strategy game Dune, but it's the Sega CD port, which is the only one that featured that lady talking, and it's like video and everything of her, like crappy, postage stamp size real time video, but it was in there nonetheless. And they did that a lot. They would take port versions of games over to that thing, and the sound would be so much better and some visuals, but mostly it was the same game. So like EA put out NHL 94, probably the greatest 16-bit era hockey game ever, maybe sports game ever made. So amazing.
Right. Agreed.
Loved it. But then they put out a CD version of it, which was the same exact game, graphically, gameplay, all of it, except it had real crowd sounds, actual organ, all that, all the sounds of them crashing into the side of stuff and body checking. Those were all like legit new sounds, and I loved that. Oh my gosh. Sega CD was a dumb piece of hardware, but there were some moments. There were moments.
Oh my God. I have such a love affair with every console I've ever had. I can't think of any that I just like said, eventually I did.
Yeah. No, I get you.
You know who I ended up hating the most after it was all over?
Who?
My original PlayStation. I don't know why.
It's because let me put it this way. PS1 and to some extent N64 were stepping stone technology devices. They were a important but ugly moment where it was like, well, we are about to move into a brand new territory, and it's only going to exponentially go crazy from here, which is true. Is exactly what happened. But we needed that step, and that step was ugly and jittery and gross looking.
Yeah,
and they don't hold up as well, and they ran like shit.
No, they don't.
It's just.
I think the main problem is, I think it hung around way too long, and I started getting clearance games, and by the time I got through, I was just sucking up $5 games here and there, and just every game I'd play, I was like, it's trash. It's trash. I probably play more games on my PlayStation original than any other console. Just volume. Just let me try this piece of trash. Okay, let me try this piece of trash. There's a lot of trash on there.
The console that blew my mind and made me think that the world was changing was the Dreamcast at the time.
Oh, the Dreamcast. Now that was lovely, and it did not until like the very end again. Did the games ever go on clearance? But you were like, you had to spend real money. You had to appreciate every dirt game you got. You had to appreciate it all the way through.
But it was that thing that came out and went, hey, this is possible. And you went, whoa, freaking throw my PS1 away. I'm playing that next. And then you played that, and then you went, oh, this is so great. And then Sony said, we got a PS2 coming out, and also Microsoft says, we're getting into with this thing called Xbox. And then we were like, shit. And then Sega went away.
Man, well, I'll tell you, the PS2, that was a solid piece of hardware. I was very satisfied from beginning to end with the PS2, how they handled themselves in the PS2 and the 4. I didn't care for the PS3 as much, so maybe Sony is good every other. The odds for me, maybe better for me.
I liked PS3 fine.
It was all right.
It was okay. I think PS4 was exactly what it needed to be for this last gen. We don't know what's happening yet for the new ones, but I like Microsoft's gumption at the moment. Yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. But yeah, whatever. They all had their important things. The main point, though, the takeaway here is if you're going to go back and look at a PS1 game, do not be surprised that it'll look like freaking moving vomit. It's terrible. It looks so bad.
My PSP Mini, PlayStation Mini. Oh, it's a piece of trash too.
Midget Wookie says, heard Call of Duty is bricking new consoles. I've heard that. So I've got 3 friends now with PS5s that have all bricked, but not because of COD. They were just stopped working. And
that's been a little bit of an issue with the new PS5s.
I'm sure they're working it out with time, but I don't know what the exchange issue is or how long they have to wait first. Maybe it's worse than your Oculus experience. I'd be curious
too, because you already have like a limited stock. Would you have to send it back? I mean,
it's bad.
I don't know.
It's pretty bad. Those
can't be as bad as Oculus. Whatever.
All right, I'm gonna play your game. Let's see what this is. Do you have a year for me? What's the game?
I have the year is 2003.
2003.
This was available on. Are you ready for it?
Yep.
Here's the list of things it was available for: PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Microsoft Windows, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, Xbox, and Java.
Whoa, Java version.
Java.
I wonder what this is. All right.
Now, I don't know if it released like that, but yeah.
This is 11 years after the game I just played.
Yeah, and you should be able to guess this about 30 seconds in. I think it's really obvious.
All right, here we go.
Most people think time is like a river that flows swift and sure in one direction. But I have seen the face of time, and I can tell you, they are wrong.
Oh, it's Prince of Persia, Sands of Time.
You nailed it.
Yeah,
Prince of Persia, Sands of Time.
They're making an HD version of that. You hear about that?
I have not heard that.
That's happening soon. Let's see.
Is it already happened? Because I
Sands
see
of
Prince of
Time
Persia: Sands of Time for $40 for the PS4. Jeez. Oh, it's the remake standard edition.
Check.
That
Is
must
that
be
the
it.
one? Hold on. Remake announced. Oh, they're doing a full remake. Okay, Ubisoft announced the return of its long dormant series, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, following a leak of the remake today. Set for release January 21 of 2021, so a couple of months.
Oh.
Sands of Time remake will cost you $40. It'll be available on PS4, Xbox One, Epic Games Store, and Ubisoft Store on Windows and Uplay Plus.
Yes,
or
it's
whatever they're calling it.
It's on Best Buy right now. Pre-order it for only $39.99.
It says there will not be a PS5 or Xbox Series X enabled version of it, but it'll be playable on either console as a previous gen game. It's using the
Immortals in
Assassin's
there,
Creed
too. Look at
engine. Ooh.
Look at this. I got to order all these things. I got Immortals Phoenix Rising right here, and I got my Cyberpunk 2077. And then I'm going to throw that Prince of Persia right there. He's going to throw it.
Ooh, there's a gameplay explainer. Hold on, let me see what this looks like. Okay, there's just a lady talking. Don't care. All right. This looks like I have some interest in this because I loved that game.
Yes, it was for at the time. It was a game changer for me. It was
Yep.
I
remember
put it all together for me.
That's why I knew it the minute I heard that lady. I was like, wait a minute, I know this game.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. That's our Guess Our Games. Do you have games you want us to guess? Let us know. But let us know individually so we don't know what each other's picking. That's the whole point of this.
I think we got to make Brian Ibbott be the holder of WAV files and answers.
Oh, I'm sure he'd love that.
I don't know how we'd make him do that.
He probably.
Hey, could you be available every Monday? At,
3:30 Mountain. Just hop in here and be in charge of that. That'd be great.
Oh, we could have somebody in the chat room be responsible. Who's here every week?
We'll
make them responsible.
Who's a responsible person, though? Like
who's a responsible person?
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat room and start sending us some guess your game. Make it obscure because I'll tell you, Scott, I've been trying to make it easier because the obscure ones I was getting from you, I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I suck.
I like obscure ones. I'm a fan.
You do great. You do so better.
I just remember these old games and go, oh yeah, I had that.
Yeah,
we should do that. I'm all out of arcade games, so I got to do other weird ones.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing because every time I go back and I'll look and I'm like, oh, we've done that one. Oh, we've done that one too.
Yeah.
Because how many episodes have been doing this?
Well, yeah,
because
I don't know. It's 267. It says here.
You don't realize how limited the big games are because that's what I try to get. I get big games because you pick some small crap. You're never gonna guess that.
Yep.
You're never gonna guess.
Never gonna get it.
Crap.
I got. Yeah. Oh man, if we want to go small stuff, I could kill you. I'd destroy you every week.
I know. I can barely do the big stuff.
Yeah, we got to do the bigger
Big stuff.
Mr. Big Stuff. Speaking of big stuff, next week we got new games we'll be covering. I'm going to be playing a weird freaking MMO thing that's like super lo-fi looking, blocky, on purpose kind of art style thing called The Yellow King. It's currently in early access on Steam. I picked it up for $6.50 on sale today. It's normally $20, and I don't know why it's down. They're just doing some kind of flash sale, and I went, oh, I meant to get that game. It's on my wish list. I'm going to grab it. So I grabbed it. I'm going to check it out. Came out not long ago, and it's still in early access, but I'm going to tell you what I think of the dungeon crawling MMO-ish game, The Yellow King. Brian, what are you going to play?
Oh, I do like that.
You know what's
that
funny?
Good.
This thing you're going to play, I am playing right now. I totally forgot that I forgot to mention it. Yeah, I downloaded it.
Yeah, I found it humorous because in the same episode that you guys talked about Darksiders Genesis, you actually you talked about Dragon Quest, some kind of builder game or something for Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest Builder 2 is amazing. That's probably the one I was talking about. Yeah, it's great.
And so this is Dragon Quest 11S. Just came out on the Xbox Game Pass in the last week or so, and I went ahead and loaded it up at the behest of my son Drew. He likes these kind of things. He said it has a little bit of a Kingdom Hearts feel to it, and he did love that series and as well as I. And this has been remastered somewhat, and now it has a proper orchestral accompaniment.
Yeah.
Orchestral. That was it. Orchestral. That's it. Accompaniment. So it is it. I played it like for just a couple of minutes to see how it was, and it is amazing as far as just the feel.
It's a really pretty game. It's got touches of Zelda. It's definitely a Japanese RPG, so it's turn-based combat and all that. There's a little grinding, but it's probably my favorite modern Square game. I think I like it the most of just about anything else I played.
Right.
And
I'm going to take a deep dive in it. Fun. You may have noticed You may have noticed, listener, that we only did 2 games this week, 1 apiece.
Well, now they'll notice because you pointed it out. See, now they'll notice.
Well, the reason why is because I wanted to start dedicating. I've found in the last 6 months, every time I finish a game that we was looking at, I'm like, oh, I didn't have time enough to do it. I didn't have enough time enough to do everything.
Because you had to do 2. I get it. Yeah. We used to do 3. People don't remember those days.
We used to do 3. What were we thinking?
Yeah, that was crazy. So a little deeper dives now. Deeper depths of diving.
Do you feel that deep dive? Do you
I feel that dive right now. I feel it in my jeans and my loins, which is a weird thing to say, but I'll say it nonetheless.
Well,
Anyway, but that's next week. The Yellow King and Dragon Quest 11S, Brian will talk about, which is a pretty major game. I wouldn't call that a small game. It's a big game.
Oh, not at all. Well, that's not necessarily our motto here. Is streaming service games as well as indies. So,
yeah. Our big motto is, hey, check it out.
Hey,
this is my
we're playing
wiener.
something.
I call him Carl. All right, that's it for the show. Thank you all for joining us. Frogpants.com/BOOP is our freaking web address, and you should go do that. Also, send us your emails, boopshow@gmail.com. Didn't have a good one this week, so we're skipping that. But we'll have one next week. Also, give me and Brian a Twitch follow. We'd love that. If you're like, man, how do I support the Boop Show? They don't really have like a monetary thing going on here, and we don't. We do it just because we like it. So the way to help us is to give us follows on our Twitch accounts. A couple of Prime subs every other month or something. Whatever you feel like doing. It's up to you, man. Find him at Brian Dunaway. Find me at Frog Pants. Or you're not the Brian Dunaway, are you?
No, I am Brian Dunaway. I also have the Brian Dunaway on Twitch, but I only did that because it matched my Twitter handle. It's complicated.
Yeah, and I sent people there once on a raid by accident, and I screwed up. So
that was great.
I won't screw up again the next time. It was real fun. But anyway,
by the way, I stream everything that I play. By the way, I played Darksiders a lot this week. If you want to hear me say words, go look at the.
That reminds
videos.
me. I got an Xbox question for anyone out there listening. Why does so I got the Twitch app working on there, but it sends a black screen. All the sound and stuff's fine, but it sends a black screen. Someone told me I just need to uninstall the Twitch app and reinstall it, and that fixes it. But that just seems ridiculous to me. So
it sounds like that is odd.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to work. All the sound comes through. Everything else works just fine. Just no screen.
I'll load it up and try it too. See what I can see with it. Have you tried on the PC? Just asking while we're asking.
I mean, my PC,
the Twitch stream thing, the Twitch Studio.
Their app, yeah, that works fine. That's okay. I've never had any trouble with that. I don't like it very much, but I've used it.
It works. I don't like it.
But in the Xbox case, it's it's just the app you can download on that thing. So I don't know. I'll have to dink with it. Well, I'll let you know how that works next week. That's going to do it for us. Thank you all for watching and listening. We hope you come back next time for more of this silly business. Until then, for me and for Brian, we'll see you then. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I don't like Steam. I love Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I thought